Unlike other conditions which require 1 or 2 medical professionals to manage, cerebral palsy involves a lot of specialists like ophthalmologists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, orthopedic specialists, among others.
We need to make a fund for children with special needs, because whether we like it or not, as a country we would produce children with special needs. I do not think it's fair on parents to take that burden on its own. You are a citizen of Ghana, the Constitution protects you. So if I have cerebral palsy, or I have a child with autism, or I have a child with any of these severe conditions, then there must be the help. It must be coming from the state. Because elsewhere, if you have that diagnosis, you are processed. And everything due you will be done because it's formal. You've been seen. If you need physiotherapy services, you will get it. If you need to go swimming to strengthen your muscles, it is paid for. You'll be taken to swimming lessons regularly. If you need speech therapy services, all those will be integrated for you. And it's like the whole system works to ensure that all those services are received by the child involved. But over here, it's a fragmented service. If I see you here, I said you need speech therapy or you need occupational therapy services. We are not working together as a multidisciplinary unit where all those services then are guaranteed. So as to whether that happens, it's even beyond me. I don't even know, which is not a good service then that you are providing. So there's a lot more to do. We need to pay attention to children with disability, especially this category.
39-year-old Farida Bedway is the co-founder and chief technology officer of the Logicel Ghana Limited, a software company developing banking systems for the microfinance industry. As a child, Farida had dreams of becoming a ballet dancer.
I wanted to be a ballerina.
A what?
A ballerina.
Wow, why?
Until I realized that you have to be able to walk to dance, and I couldn't walk, so I couldn't dance. But you know, that is the time. When you're a child, you can dream. But when you grow up and you realize your limitations, you have to make the best out of your life with it.
Did you feel depressed when you realized that?
No, I didn't. I was too young to feel depressed. But I mean, I've never let my condition limit me as much as I can. I mean, it's not anything. I mean, this is what you are dealt with. You have to live the best life you can with your situation. It's like you wishing you're not born here or you are born somewhere else or something like that. This is what you are dealt with. You are Ghanaian citizens. You have to live the best life you can as a Ghanaian citizen. That means when you are going anywhere else, you have to go for a visa and all those things. Those little things that are a bit annoying, which if you are using a different passport, you will not have to go through that. But that is it. These are the cards you've been dealt. So you live your best life with it, so you move on.
So how do you feel how do you feel at that time when you see people dancing?
It wasn't that I wanted to dance. I just like the idea of being a ballerina. I mean, I didn't particularly want to dance or anything like that. Yeah, but it's like I remember I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a textile designer, and all those things. As a child, you dream. But when you finish dreaming, you have to face the reality and see what you can do.
For more than a decade, Farida has been at the forefront of championing the cause of persons living with cerebral palsy. Farida's story is that of hope and great inspiration for many families. It shows that children with cerebral palsy should not be thrown into the dustbin of society.
I think that the fact that I'm able to work, the fact that I have my own company, the fact that I'm able to go around and live a fulfilled life is an indication that somebody with a disability can succeed in life. So I always say that if you want to have a reason to give somebody with cerebral palsy a chance, just look at me. I'm the reason that you should give somebody with cerebral palsy the right therapies, the right education, and whatever. Because most people with cerebral palsy are not mentally challenged. 90% of them are just physically challenged. But because they don't have the right therapies, most of them are not able to communicate. So you don't know what they're capable of doing. But if they are given the right therapies, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, speech therapy, then they'll be able to function and communicate better. Then they'll be able to see what they are capable of doing.
But the journey of activism hasn't been smooth. Like any other advocate or support group, which requires funding for its activities, there are times when some corporate brands decline to sponsor or support them because of the stigma attached to the condition.
I think it's mainly the fact that people are still regarding disability as a taboo. So it's difficult to get funding for anything to do with disability. Most of the corporate brands and all that, they don't want their brand to be associated with disability because of the perceived taboo about it. And for me, that is the major challenge that we have, because everything that we need to do, we need funding for it. And if corporate Ghana is not interested in funding some of these projects because of the taboo associated with disability, then it makes it difficult for us.
Professor Baidu believes parents of these children should push government to make policies that would help alleviate their plight, as has been the case with other developed countries.
Parent groups can be very powerful in pressuring government to get the services that they need.
Among the overwhelming challenges faced by this parent, they are also confronted with difficulties in accessing education for their children. Although Ghana has signed many international conventions spelling out the right to education for all children, like the Inclusive Education Policy document, which was launched in 2016 to help the country address the challenges of marginalization and exclusion of children with special needs or disabilities, not much has been achieved in addressing the educational needs of children with such disabilities. Mercy Ayoko Mensah tried many times to send Alicia to school, but no school would admit her.
They said the children will look at her, they won't learn. And they said, I've taken her to 3 different schools. And they said the children will look at her, so they can't take her. That's the reason why I took her to New Horizon. And they say I should bring someone to take care of her, which I can't afford.
Mavis Yemotioko Tete also lives at La. Her 17-year-old son has cerebral palsy. Mavis is fortunate to have strong family support.
We know that you family drama. If papa a mommy wa ni kabachi bi anedenche emeko wo he e kan he ni e kwa wololo.
She shares with me a sad experience she had with the proprietress of a school she once took her son to for enrollment.
A second school ne there. Madam, hello, all right. A kakashi later a chamiake. Impile a small a photo normal people. She about the bekenke about nambile school me. About the parents about the may be. No one by Jambile can just school. One in warrior man cashi school me. I draw me and feel bad. None and if it more a rejecting bile. A reject le. Many ekayo class I'm at no tomorrow kwa me aka tomorrow Herman no ajakashi Herman nyemo pe enyemo dey problem.
Today, there is a glimmer of hope for Yomotioko and her son. This is because her son Herman is now in a mainstream school. It is a day school and Herman gets ready for school. With a little difficulty, he manages to comb his hair and prepare for the day. Herman's school is only a few meters away from his house. Caleb Okai is one of the teachers here at Justice Ni Ama Olenu Memorial School, where Herman is a pupil. He is taking the class through science lessons. He describes Herman as a very intelligent and enthusiastic pupil.
Herman Pt2 is second physically challenged student I've seen in this school. One thing I've noticed about Herman is he likes to take part in everything which goes on in the class. Sometimes you do not hear clearly what he says, but he doesn't get discouraged because of his situation. He tries to take part even though we do not get what he tries to say. With Herman, just now we were answering some science questions, and I asked him some simple questions which he was able to answer them. He likes the science. He likes the science.
Herman is not only active in school, but also in church. He does not allow his condition to deter him at all.
Persons with cerebral palsy are often marginalized and seen as a burden to society. But today I'm here to meet a young man here at the La Nativity Presbyterian Church called Herman. Herman is changing the narrative about children with cerebral palsy.
It is Bible study time here at the Junior Youth Wing of the La Nativity Presbyterian Church, and Herman participates effectively during the discussion. On this day, Herman is one of the members scheduled to read the scriptures in Ga to the whole congregation. Despite his speech defects, he manages to read.
Herman has really been with us for a long time now.
Daniel Akwete Tekutete is the president of the Junior Youth Wing of this church. According to him, Herman is always ready to undertake any task assigned him at church.
He's been a wonderful child to have in JY. He's very enthusiastic about the things of God. Anything he wants to do, he wants to participate in it. He wants to read. He wants to go for programs, come meetings and stuff. And so we are privileged to have him. He's very chatty, very jovial. And we are happy to have him in our midst as JY Nativity Presby. And we hope that, we are believing that his condition will never limit him in any way. And schools and other places wouldn't bring limitations his way. But each and every time they will give him an opportunity to advance and to bring his talents and giftings into bear.
He is also a member of the Boys Brigade movement of the church. Just like every child, Herman also has interests, dreams and aspirations. Herman tells me it is his wish to play football and engage in other activities like his peers.
I want to do, I will play football and my condition.
He also has dreams of becoming a medical doctor, and he is confident of achieving that.
I will become a doctor.
His mother, Yemotioko, also believes in that dream.
Miss Mama Wale, ni was a Gbomowulu. No the country, no near man, care die by June. It's on doctor for you, Hammy. I can't work in the shoe Wale. Why Herman by your doctor? It won't hope. Can you work a yellow fair call me? Herman, a banner fair doctor.
Given the right environment, attention, and love, children with cerebral palsy can become a good human resource to contribute to the development of the nation. Farida Bedwe is proof of that. She believes the fight cannot be won by them alone. According to her, the commitment and support of selfless individuals is required to champion their cause.
I think we are pushing government as much as we can with given the limitations that we have. I mean, we need people with that disability to join the fight for us, because you can't expect somebody in a wheelchair to every day be going to Parliament to campaign for these things. We need help. We need people who have nothing to gain and nothing to lose from this fight to realize that it's a national problem. Because no matter what, we are still the minority. But the majority has to come in and make it a national problem. So that the government will realize that this is something that people care about enough to be able to fight for it first. Like for instance, I'm not saying that we should go on a demonstration or anything, but look at what happened at the dental food bridges issue. Because people cared enough about it to make it a cause for government to realize that they have to sit up and fix this issue for people. Otherwise, the people will get angry and start misbehaving or something like that. If people cared about disability that much, you can imagine how the inroads will make.
So you think you are not caring enough, those of us who don't have?
No, you are not. You are not, and that is the problem. Until it affects you, you are not interested. Because you are like, it's not my problem. It's somebody else's problem. So why should I bother? But as soon as it affects you or it affects a loved one, then suddenly we see you running around now looking for solutions for the problem. Some of us, we just laugh because this is what we have been living with our whole life.
Professor Beidou strongly believes the country's ability to take care of these children with special needs will ultimately determine the country's progress.
It's high time as a country we think about children with special needs. I mean, whatever we do, whether we are going to find a special fund for children with special needs, whether we are going to set up the services, multidisciplinary services, one-stop shop where when a mother brings a child, she can be sure that somebody will look at this aspect of the child, somebody with all the expertise that you can expect. If we can start developing those services for them, then I think we can now talk of progress in our dear country, Ghana. When we've done that, then there's real progress.
With the evidence of all these harsh realities, Farida Bedwe is encouraging these mothers not to relent on their efforts, since these children are gifts from God.
I know that it's difficult, especially in a country where you don't get any support from social services. And basically you and your God who you have to rely on for some of these things. But that doesn't mean you should give up. I mean, you have to look at it like the child is a gift, and there are people who are going around the whole world looking for a child. They are not getting the child. You got the child. just because the child didn't come in the way that you expected it to come, it doesn't mean you should reject the child and whatever. I mean, it would be helpful if you have the support from your family and your loved ones. But if you don't, try and find a way to survive. There's no need for you to kill yourself or kill your child or whatever. There are some various support groups who help some of these mothers with children with disabilities. The Special Mother Project is there. I mean, Hannah was doing a terrific job with that. I mean, no matter how difficult it is, as long as there's life, there's hope.
She also believes government should find sustainable ways of supporting persons with cerebral palsy.
With regard to the LEAP program, or the district command fund or whatever, I mean, there are various social interventions which are not working properly because of logistics. So let's identify why they are not working properly. I understand with the district command fund, most of the time, the assembly do not want to disperse the fund to the people. Let's find a way of eliminating that problem. With the LEAP, I don't know much about it. I know that it's supposed to help people who have some of these social challenges. But I am all for something that is sustainable, so that it's not every month that you have to give them money. If you can give them something, a sum of money that they can use to set up businesses, to look after themselves and their children, I think that is more sustainable than giving them 50 cedis every month, which will not go far for them. So, I mean, we have to redefine the whole thing. And we have to redefine it in a way that it will have the desired effect on the person. But because the whole idea is to remove the person from the poverty level to a self-sustaining level. And that cannot be done with 70 cedis a month. Or 80 cedis a month. I don't know how much it is now, but that is it. Because it's expensive to look after a child with a disability. And that 70 or 80 cedis or 100 cedis will not do that much for the child. Because the equipment are expensive. If the child has a medical condition that requires drugs, regular hypertension and all those things, it's expensive. And most of these drugs and things are not on the NHIS approved list because they are usually very expensive drugs and they are not common for common illnesses that we have here. So, I mean, if let's say the medicine is 100 cedis and the LEAP fund is 100 cedis, then they are spending the whole LEAP fund buying one drug.
It is also the hope of Florida that the 2019 budget, read by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in November, which largely focused on massive infrastructural projects, factored the needs of people living with disabilities.
This last budget was about infrastructure, right? I mean, they had a lot of infrastructure. They had a lot of
Plans for infrastructure.
Plans for infrastructure. I don't know whether they had taken into they had factored disability into the infrastructure that they are going to do, because what about the things that you are doing? You have to consider us as well. I mean, if you are building roads, if you are building food bridges, you have to make them disability friendly. If you are building schools, you have to make them disability friendly. If you are investing in social interventions like the National ID, the NHIA, and all those things, how disability friendly is it? can somebody with a disability access them easily? Personally, I went to register for my national ID card. I jumped the line, which is good because I mean that is the one perk that I get for being a disabled citizen in Ghana. When I'm going to vote or when I'm going to do any of these things, I don't join the queue. So it was very smooth for me. But the burden that it was being held, that the registration was being done in, if I were in a wheelchair, I wouldn't have been able to access it because it had a step to go inside. So somebody with a disability somebody in a wheelchair cannot enter the building. They probably have to come out and all those things. So those are the little things that you should consider when they are doing some of these.
A lifetime of unending struggles and pain, dreams and aspirations of these mothers and children being crushed.
Me bano free face that me nyemuno. I me wound it to what dear ba me tin say me ba obe medical doctor. And no penny a dear ba me tin ti de bia me friend medical doctor. Apart from that, my friend say my girl, me come my friend e din bia on you so come my girl. Na ni aji. Nti medical doctor no na am different. Ada say medical doctor na my girl but sisi anu me ni hope bia wo so betin be medical doctor bia. But first ni de na o metim anu no. Nti de bia me mpa ya mbone say me wo ba biem no na nti a medical doctor na because enno ni ade wo metim. Me so me de no de wo metim an say medical because akwala we ya nanti pa no e medical doctor.
So boy. My school.
Okay, school no kaseni mi no ta no chon.
Bon.
What do you mean? Bad brownie.
For Hotline documentary, Beryl Ernestina Richter.